Alright, so a further benefit of working with functions is the fact that you can create a function in a file, and you could give that file to somebody else. And then what they can do is they can put that file with their program, and then they can use your function inside their program. Okay? So let's take a look here. So I created a file that's got two functions in it. Alright? One of them is going to decide what the area of a rectangle is. It's going to accept two positional arguments, length and width, and it's going to return the value of length times width. I'm also going to get the perimeter. Again, it's going to take length and width as arguments, positional arguments, and then we're going to return 2 times length plus width. Now, when you save this file, the file name is important. Notice here I called mine rectangle. R-E-C-T-A-N-G-L-E, rectangle. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video and type that in, and then save your program as rectangle. Alright, so put that aside. Now I have one called circle, C-I-R-C-L-E. And in this I imported math because I need to get a hold of the pi function. So I import math, and I'm going to take the area of a circle. So I create a function called area that's going to accept a single positional argument called radius, and it's going to return math.pi, so 3.14 blah 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 blah, times the radius squared. Okay. I'm then going to have another function called circumference. It's going to accept a positional argument called radius, and it's going to take 2 times pi times r, so 2 times 3.14 blah 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 times the radius. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video here, and you'll type this in, and when you're done, save it as circle and put it in the same location as you did for the rectangle one you just created. Alright. Now, I'm going to finally create a program called geometry. Now, yes, I know there's a lot of code here, and I will give you opportunity to type this in. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import circle and import rectangle. Now, those two files will be in the same place as my program. So for now, I want to make sure that those are in the same place as my program. All right? And the name was important, circle and rectangle. If the name was in uppercase, make sure you put it in uppercase. If it was in lowercase, make sure it's in lowercase, because it is case sensitive, and you need to make sure you get the right file name. Alright? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and allow you to type this in. So go ahead and type in the highlighted section right now. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video and type in the highlighted section. Alright, so now that you're back, go ahead and type in the remaining highlighted section. Okay, so pause the video at this time and type that in. Alright, so now that you got the entire program typed in, let's talk about it. So, first thing we're going to do is we are going to import in those two external modules that have functions in them. Again, the name of the file is important. Circle, rectangle. Absolutely need to have those being correct, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so make sure those are exact. I just created some variables here. Area circle 1, circumference circle 2, so on and so forth. I just created myself some values here. I'm going to use those later in my evaluation of a user's choice. So I create a function called main. I set their choice equal to 0. So while choice is not equal to quit choice, so while choice is not equal to 5, it's going to run a function called display menu. So if I scroll down, here's my display menu function. It's just going to print some items on the screen. It's going to make me like a little menu. Okay? Once that's finished, control's going to return back to this location, and then it's going to prompt the user to enter in their choice. Now I guess I could have done, enter choice 1 through 4 or 5, but because I give them the menu, they should already know what choice to enter in, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If they do choice area circle, well, area circle is a 1, it's going to prompt them for the radius of their circle. Then what happens, I'm going to print a statement. I'm going to tell them the area of the circle is. Now here's the key. Circle dot area and then radius. All right? What I'm doing is I'm telling it to go to this file called circle and get the area function and use that for this calculation. I have to send it radius. Now, in my circle file with my area function, yes, I called it radius that it's expecting, but it does not have to be that, okay? That's the key here. It does not have to be that. I just chose to send it that because it makes sense, okay? So I'm going to call the area function in circle. It's going to do that calculation and put it here. If they chose number 2 to do the circumference of the circle, I do the same thing except for I do circle dot circumference. I call the circumference function in the circle. I do the same thing if they pick for area rectangle or perimeter. I call those. In this case, I choose the rectangle file, the area function. Now, what's interesting is, yes, area function is in circle and area function is in rectangle. The difference is right here, the fact that I do circle dot, rectangle dot. I qualify it and tell it to look in this specific file for that function. If they choose a 5, it's going to quit. Anything else, it just prints an error to say they've selected an invalid choice. All right? So the key is right here, where I call the file and then the function. And that's why the file name is also important. Okay? If you import circle with a capital C, then this better be circle with a capital C here. If it's all caps circle, then this better be all caps here. Okay? And that's what you got to look at. All right. So I'm going to run my program. Okay? And feel free to run yours with me. So here's my menu that comes up. As you can see, it's waiting for them to enter a choice. So I say, okay, I want to figure out the area of a circle. So I hit 1, and it says, okay, enter the radius of the circle. So I'm going to put in, I don't know, 15. And it tells me the area of the circle is 706 point blah, 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 blah units. But then it comes back up, menu, and does it again. The reason why it goes back through is because I put a 1 here. And 1 is not equal to 5, right? So I can say, okay, let's do the area of a rectangle. So I hit 3. Enter the length of the rectangle. I'll put in 10. The width of the rectangle, let's do 10. The area is 100 units, right? Length times width. Again, it prompts me for the menu again, and then I can hit 5 to quit. Okay? So what this is doing is this is importing an external function in. Now, we call these modules. Modules contain functions, and we import that in. It's just like when we did this guy right here, and I imported math. I import the math module, and it has a function called pi in it. This is the same thing. It's just I created these functions. Okay? I created circle. I created rectangle. I created those modules with those functions. And we'll talk more about this down the way. But for now, that's what this is doing. We are importing an external module called circle that has 2 functions in it. Now, something about the import process. Okay? Again, we have to watch our file names. Now, for this video as we're speaking, all right, you want to make sure that these modules are in the same folder as your program. All right, so for this video as we're speaking right now, okay, those modules, so circle and rectangle, need to be in the same folder location as your program. Okay, if not, it's not going to work for what we know now. So make sure they're there. Now, the thing about the import, okay, that we've got to understand is when this gets imported, they have a special name with them. Okay? Now, you notice when we call our functions, we've just been doing main or what have you. The better way to do this is to use a special function or special variable name, as it were. Okay? We're going to put if name, and that's a double underscore, is equal to double under main, we're going to run main. What does that mean? Well, whenever you import a function, okay, you import a function to another program, it gives itself the name of the module. So if I import circle into this program, its name will be circle. Same with rectangle. If I import rectangle into this program, its name is program. If I run a program local, okay, much like I'm doing here with this program, my geometry menu program, I'm running that natively, I'm not importing it, then its special name is main. Okay, its special name is main. Now, why is that important? Well, let's say that in my rectangle module, for example, okay, I have some code, hello, I am imported. I have some code that I only want somebody to see if the program is imported, all right? And I only want some program to run if I run it native. So let's just do this. If name is equal to main, all right, main, then I'm going to print I am being ran natively. All right. Else print hello, I'm imported. Okay. So what this is going to do is if their special variable name is equal to main, it's going to run I'm being ran natively. Otherwise, it's going to say I'm imported. All right. So let me show you what that looks like. So if I go ahead and save this, all right, I'm going to run the rectangle file just as it is. Okay, so run module. And you can see right here it says I am being ran natively. Okay, now if I go to my geometry program, okay, which is here, I'm going to run this, and notice you see here, hello, I am imported. That is my rectangle function saying I'm being imported into your program. Okay. The reason I show you this is I want you to see, yeah, go ahead and kill it. I want you to see what happens with that special name. Okay, and I can do the same thing here with my circle one. So we're going to say if name is equal to main, we're going to print this is circle, I am being ran natively. Okay. Else print this is circle, I am being imported. All right. And I'm going to go in and change my parameter one. I won't change the parameter one. We'll leave it alone. All right. So I made those changes to circle, right? All I did is in my circle.py file, I added these 2 lines to my code. So we'll go ahead and save it. Okay, and we'll get rid of that guy. We'll go back to my geometry program here. Okay, and I'm going to run it, and you should see there it is. This is circle, I am being imported. Now, the hello I'm imported, that is coming from the rectangle one. Now, that doesn't have any adverse effect because I can type 1, put in the radius is 10, and it still works. Okay? But what this does is it allows me to customize some code. So in my rectangle.py, I'm going to put hello, or this is rectangle. I am being ran natively. This is rectangle. I am being imported. Okay. What this allows me to do, okay, you may have a module you create that has functions in it, and you don't want certain functions ran, or maybe there's certain things you don't want done because it's been imported. Okay? And because of that, you can change some things around. Okay? What you could do is something like this. Let's say you only want them to run the area function if they're running it natively. So you can take this code and put it underneath this if statement. And then if somebody imports your program or imports your module, they can't do some things. And it really comes down to kind of like a security thing. Okay? But that's exactly what happens. All right? So when you look at this, all right, this special variable name will be equal to main if a program, or in this case, right, if this program is ran natively, meaning I'm in here and I run this. If we import it, okay, like we did here in my geometry menu program, if I run rectangle in here, it gets imported, and because it's imported, that name variable has the name rectangle, and it does whatever the else is in this case. It prints this saying, hey, this is rectangle, I am imported. So it's just a different way in which we can work with these imported modules and the functions that lie inside. So you can imagine how you can do some different things to control what is and isn't being executed. Okay? So in like circle here, right? When it's imported in to a program and executed, name is circle, so that means this is false, and that's why it does this print statement. If I run it just like this, name is main, and it runs this. That's just the Python name variable has a special use, and this is that special use you can use it for. I mean, there's other things, but this is one of the main things. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that helps as far as importing external. Now we will get more into importing modules and various things like that in the upcoming chapters. Or the upcoming videos, I should say. But I just wanted you to see how this import can be extremely effective. And again, we will revisit this in upcoming videos as well. All right. If you have questions, as always, feel free to contact me. Let me put the geometry menu back up on the screen just so you can get those last little pieces that I added to the end of the program. Okay, so this was what I added to the end. All right. Again, I'll put this stuff up on GitHub under the appropriate weeks if you want to go after this code and play around with it. All right. All right, if you have questions, as always, feel free to contact me. If not, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, good evening.